So we've seen the various different things that we can make from modular origami units. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the paper. So here is a piece of paper which is 7.5 centimeter square, and if I look at it, it's double-sided, and that just means that we've got different colors on each side. So I've got a definite color on one side, and in this case I've got white on the other side. It's actually quite light paper, but it works. It's very robust when you fold it. It's actually very good paper to use. So that's one, that's a 7.5 centimeter. I have one here that is 10 centimeters, and if I turn it around here, you'll see that it's single-sided because it only has one color, and you can see the differences in the size. Now what I want you to see as well is actually with both of these papers, there is a difference to the finish of them as well. So the 10 centimeter square, the orange one here, has a matte finish, and the other one, the blue one, which is 7.5 centimeters, has kind of a little bit of a shine to it. And again, that does impact on your finished product. So those are just things you need to be thinking about. We also have a 15 centimeter square here. Let's go with this one here. So again, this one is double-sided. It's very similar to the dark blue one, except that it's obviously 4 times the size. And again, what we can do is, if you have 15 centimeter paper and you want to convert it into 7.5 centimeter squares, you can literally just take it, fold it over in half, fold it in half again, and then you can cut along those lines, and that gives you 4 7.5 centimeter squares. You can also have pattern paper, and I showed you some of the cubes and things that I made with pattern paper. This is just one pattern paper that I have, and again, this is double-sided, so you've got the white on the back and you've got the pattern on the front. And this one here is one which is, I suppose, semi-translucent. You can kind of see through it. But again, and we saw this in one of the hexahedrons as well, easy to work with. But actually, one thing I find with pattern paper, you need to be careful with pattern paper, because if what you're doing is quite intricate, you might lose some of that detail on the intricacy because the paper is so patterned. So you just need to be a little bit conscious of that when you're dealing with all of these papers. Pick the best paper for you. Now, if you don't have origami paper, that's not a problem. You can actually get started with origami just using regular photocopier paper. So I'm just going to show you how you can take a regular A4 sheet of photocopier paper and actually turn it into, you know, some squares that you can use. So I'm just going to take these away and show you the photocopier paper there. So this is just our regular sheet of A4 paper. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold it over, and if you just pinch here at the corner, now try and be as accurate as you can with this to make the best square you can. And if you just fold it over like that and just pinch here in the corner, you can start to see that's going to be your square if you just cut along there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to rotate it. I'm going to go from here, this pinch mark, and I'm just going to fold it up here like that, and there is that. So that's what we're going to cut off. And if I just flip it over, you can see there you've got your square. Now I'm just going to, I find a flat knife actually is the best thing to do with this, because it doesn't tend to tear it, and you can get a very even edge. So I just literally just run along it like that, and there is what I'm discarding, and there is your square. Now this one is quite a big square to do anything with, so I would do the same thing as I did with the 15 centimeter square. I would just fold it over like this, and then I would open it up and fold along again. So just folding it in half each time, and when you do that, you'll get your guidelines for where you want to cut. So if I just cut along here, and then just fold it over again and cut along there, and then if we just go this way, you'll be able to see it easier. So there you go, and now we're just left with 4 squares that allow you to start with your modular origami. Now you can also use coloured paper, so you can get coloured paper in the craft shops or in, you know, any of those discount stores or anything like that, and you could actually cut those up. So you don't actually need origami paper. This is a very easy way of getting started with origami. The other thing you could do is you could actually cut out these squares and then, you know, color them in. You could put different colors on them and things like that and put them together. So again, it's just some ideas for getting started with origami.